When a journalist asked Peter Thiel whether he would prefer the human race to endure, he hesitated, not for a second, for long enough that the interviewer said, "This is a long hesitation." Thiel eventually answered, "Yes." But the pause said something the words didn't. This is the man who co-founded one of the most powerful surveillance companies in history, a company whose software tracks terrorist networks, coordinates military operations, and manages the health records of millions of British citizens. Its name is Palantir, and its story is one of the least understood of our age. Palantir isn't just a software company. It is the quiet architecture of a world being reshaped without your knowledge, awareness, or consent. To understand it, you have to understand the world after September 11th, 2001. The attacks didn't just kill nearly 3,000 people. They exposed something America could not ignore. Its intelligence agencies weren't short of information, they were drowning in it. The CIA had data, the FBI had data, the NSA had data, but none of it talked to each other. The 9/11 Commission found that connected information might have identified the plot before it happened. That failure had a price, and it planted a question. What if software could connect everything? One of those asking was Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal, first outside investor in Facebook, and one of the most contrarian minds in American technology. In 2003, alongside Alex Karp, he co-founded Palantir. Named after Tolkien's Seeing Stones, ancient objects capable of revealing events far away, it wasn't just a clever reference, it became the company's entire philosophy. Almost immediately, Palantir attracted the CIA's investment arm, a Silicon Valley startup with CIA backing on day one. Palantir doesn't sell data, it sells the ability to make sense of data you already have. Its platform, Gotham, was built for defense and intelligence. Imagine thousands of disconnected databases, phone records, financial transactions, satellite imagery, police reports, and a single interface drawing connections instantly. Intelligence that once took months can now be found in minutes. Its second platform, Foundry, serves hospitals, governments, and corporations. During COVID-19, it was deployed by NHS England to coordinate vaccination data. That led to something larger. In 2023, Palantir won a 7-year contract worth £330 million to build the NHS Federated Data Platform, integrating patient records across England. A CIA-backed American company, now at the heart of Britain's most sensitive public institution. Here is the extraordinary irony at the heart of this story. Peter Thiel, the man who built these tools, has said publicly that surveillance AI is, and these are his own words, communist totalitarian technology. When asked whether Palantir itself could enable the authoritarian future he warns against, he acknowledged the tension. He concedes it is a risk worth thinking about. That is not a reassuring answer from the man who built the infrastructure. Privacy campaigners question whether a CIA-rooted company should hold a contract at the centre of NHS England. They raise concerns about Palantir's work with US immigration enforcement, where its software tracked individuals for deportation, and about predictive policing, flagging likely future criminals before any crime has occurred. Palantir's response is consistent. It does not own your data. Customers decide what enters the platform. Palantir provides the tool. The institution holds the key. Whether that reassures you depends on how much you trust those institutions. We debate whether governments have too much power. We rarely ask who builds the systems those governments depend on to exercise it. Who receives a visa? Who gets flagged at a border? How hospitals allocate resources? How militaries identify targets? These decisions are increasingly shaped by software, and Palantir has spent 20 years positioning itself at precisely that intersection. Edward Snowden warned that governments are working harder than ever to nudge, shape, and ultimately control each individual within their territory. The tools for that control already exist. Many carry Palantir's name. In Tolkien's world, the Seeing Stones were extraordinary, but in the wrong hands, a stone meant to illuminate became an instrument of domination. The world is being reshaped by software most people have never heard of. Decisions affecting your medical records, your borders, and your government's understanding of who you are being made by private companies with minimal scrutiny. You did not vote for this. You were not asked. And the company at the center of it all was named after a stone that sees everything while remaining invisible itself. Subscribe to Hidden Economics, stories about the companies, technologies, and economic forces reshaping your world, with or without your consent.